Something I like to do before I put the cover on the sawmill is a little rag that I have over these sharp corners, because when the sun beats on that cover, and it's kind of like a vinyl material, it's going to eventually puncture through. Even this one that's like a coated handle, I put over there as well, and I found that it just helps from puncturing the sawmill cover. Just a little tip and trick for you. Hey everyone, welcome back to our channel. This morning I'm out here at the sawmill, and I have a couple projects going on. One of them is going to be the maintenance on this machine. I'm actually just a few hours over the recommended maintenance schedule for this as far as break-in, and I want to get out here this morning and get that changed. Some of the other things I want to do is hopefully get some help from you guys out there that have experience with these things. Some of the issues that I'm running into is that I find that when I put the level, it's showing me that it's in the bubble. Now, the way I have it set up are on some kind of landscape blocks, and each point has the feet for it. And so it can obviously have a little bit of waving in it. I'm pretty sure that eventually I'm gonna have to move to the trailer that you can set these on, and they said that makes it a whole lot easier for the setup, and if I have to move it, and even when it's setting here, I won't have to worry about it. Now I know there's a lot more options out there for setting this up and getting it level, and it's something I may look into as well. But today I'm hoping that anybody who can help with some suggestions, because in my mind, if the bubble's pretty close, we should not run into the issues that I'm running into as far as having the boards have a little bit of wave to them. But once again, the most important thing for today is getting the machine its first oil change and checking it over as far as loose bolts and anything else that I can find that just doesn't look right. So it's a good time to just stop and just go over this machine and give it the once over. So this is the Woodland Mills HM130 Max sawmill, and I have actually about 10 hours on it. For some reason the hour meter stopped working, and it was right at an hour. I checked the time on it. So we're going to give this thing an oil change today. First thing I'm going to do is start it up, get the oil warmed up so it flows out nice and easy. Let's see how this thing starts up. Usually starts right up just like that. I do run a stabilizer through the fuel, and I even try to run a non-ethanol fuel through any of my equipment that I run like this. Something that I find very helpful, and that I run into very few carburetor problems over the years when I can keep that in the system. But we're gonna let this thing run for a little bit and warm up. We're gonna get this oil changed. All right, well, engine's had a little time to run, so let's get this old oil out of it, and we're gonna start by using a 13 millimeter, and that's what is going to take off this. Oh, looks like the whole thing's turning there. Let's see here. All right, got it loose. I had to tighten this up because the whole thing was spinning, but now I have that. So my little oil pan right here, and I'll set the camera down. We'll get this oil drained out. The good news is that is some clean oil coming out of this, which I guess I would expect it to be, only running so long. And while the oil is draining out of it, let's pop the cover off this oil filter. A couple little snaps. Alright, they seem to want to get caught up on everything there. There we go. As you can see, you got to hold these up. Pull that out. And also a very clean air filter, which is good news because there's a lot of dust flying around, but I don't even know if I'll have to do much with that right now, so that's good. So the oil's still draining out, and so I'm going to walk around the machine now and just kind of check a few things. There was one bolt on the other side over there that actually vibrated out. It was one of these right here. Everything looks tight still. I do have a problem with this lever right here. So it seems like when I tighten the blade down, it puts some extra pressure on there, and I have a little scar right here. At first I did have a few issues with my blade popping off, even though I feel like I've followed the proper blade tensioning guide here that tells you 2.5 to 3 turns, which, you know, again, it tells you to go to snug. So where do you really know, you know, where they want you to start from? So I wish it had the ratio or the dimension for a torque wrench, which I probably can look that up. So as I walk around the machine, I keep on looking for anything that may be loose or that's not tight, like all my cables. Everything's still good, other than the first couple little mishaps we've had with the blade, and we were able to pop that on. Of course, it ruined it. So I've gone through 5 blades already and only probably 10 logs, and I'm not gonna really put a lot of pressure on myself to say that I really need to know master the art of milling. So this oil's finishing up. I'm gonna get the cover back on there, get some oil poured in there, and I'm just going to use a 10W30, just a conventional oil. This is the Kohler 14 horsepower. It's something that you'd probably find on like a lawnmower or something. So I'm guessing that's gonna be, the oil's gonna be good enough for that. So we're gonna get that put in there. We're gonna get this thing fired back up. So this comes with a startup checklist, which helps us when you do an oil change, because we have the 14 horsepower engine, and it tells us the capacity is 1.6 US quarts. So that makes it easy for refilling it, other than the fact of making sure that I get that 16 in there. So we're gonna add the oil. So I'm making sure I know where I started. I had 3 quarts in this. Now I'm right at 2. So now it's a little bit of a guessing game on what that 1/16 of an ounce is, or 1/16 of a quart. So I'm just gonna put a couple more splashes in here, and then I'll check it with the dipstick. All right, so we've got the dipstick here. Put it down to the tube, and I noticed that I have some already in there. And most of the time with these small engines like this, they tell you to get about halfway up the tube, and that looks like it's gonna be about right for this one there. So we're gonna call that good and start this thing back up. First service complete on the Woodland Mills HM1 30 Max. And again, this saw, I'm happy with it. There's some things that I wish wouldn't have happened, like the blades popped off when I feel like I've had it tightened right, or, you know, like the little scars in the little guard there. But it's all part of the learning curve. And what I'm finding out about the sawmill business is it's a lot to learn, and you've just got to you know, you learn from your mistakes, you talk to other people, see what they're learning. So that's why I'm hoping that anybody who has a setup like this maybe have some recommendations. Like I said, I'm going to look into the two options. I'm going to look into giving it a little bit more permanent foundation. I know some guys will run like some 6x6s. Now this is the extended track, so it'd be some long beams to run there. I think this thing's a little over 19 foot long. So the other option would be the trailer, and that's a lot more expensive option, but it's going to make it to where it's a lot easier to use, and I could take it to other properties to mill up some wood for some, obviously, friends first, because I want to, again, 10 hours, still a long way to go before I want to take on some big projects. But I'm having a lot of fun with this thing. I can't wait to share some of the projects that I have set up. I already have a few things milled, ready for some projects, and the kids' treehouse, we're doing a siding with that off of this thing right here. Actually, there are one of the logs. We're using some pine that I've actually dropped from up on the property up there. So we have a lot of fun projects planned for this, so I hope you guys stay tuned. Hope you guys follow along. If you would, hit that subscribe button for us, hit the like icon, and follow us along this journey and watch what we can build with this sawmill. Thanks for watching.